Good morning, live. Hey, what's going on? It's Billy Rowe. Today is Wednesday, so you know what time it is. It's time for your Wednesday word. Anyway, coming to you today because it's raining outside, so outside kicked me back inside. You know, I like to be outside. Today's topic, as you can see from the title, is called Forks, Spoons, and Knives. Kind of cryptic on this week's title, but this title kind of came to me at the end of last week's title on how to do the hard things. What I mean by forks, spoons, and knives is simply tools. I could have said drills, screwdrivers, and hammers. It would have been the same exact thing, but I decided to use silverware because we all use those. Anyway, tools, forks, spoons, and knives. What do I mean by that, and what caused me to bring this topic up today is when I concluded the end of how to do the hard things, one of the things I thought was what makes the hard things so hard sometimes. And immediately what came to me is that sometimes when we're trying to do the hard thing, we are using the wrong tool. So let's take a fork, for instance. A fork is an amazing tool if I want to skewer something or poke something to pick it up. It becomes less efficient when I want to start picking up things like a grain of rice instead of I don't know if you used to get in trouble for scraping to the edge of your plate, but trying to get those last few grains of rice on your fork. It becomes a less efficient tool, but it's still possible to get the job done. Then it becomes an impotent tool when you try to do something like eat soup with it or drink soup with it. As you know, you can get a very little bit. I'm sorry about that. You can get a very little bit of fluid onto the fork, but it's going to take you probably all day to eat a bowl of soup or fork. At some point, you're going to just pick up the bowl and drink the soup. So, I find that in many ways we do this with other tools that we develop. And one of the tools that I found, back up. Being first row, one of the things I try to focus on is honesty and transparency so that you can understand that everybody's human, including me. And it doesn't take a perfect human to get on and talk to people about their thoughts. But for me, one of the tools that I was very efficient at using was anger and violence. If I didn't get my way, I mean, from like a young age, from probably like preschool or kindergarten. I can't even remember because it's so long ago. But I was really efficient at using that tool. If you said something about my mama, you got to catch hands. If you said something about me, you got to catch hands. If you poke at me or try to bully me, you got to catch hands. It was all put it this way. At every point where you made me mad, there was a point where I was going to hit you, and that was well into probably adulthood that I had that concept. If you made me mad enough, then here came the tool of violence to rectify the situation. Fortunately, as I became older, I figured out that violence was my fork. And though it may work in a circumstance where I defend myself, or in a circumstance where I'm in actual physical danger, it wasn't always the answer when it came to other aspects of life. So I'll give you some examples. You hurt my feelings. Yeah, guys have feelings. I know that's going to be a shock to some people, but you hurt my feelings and I don't like the way I feel. I pull out my fork of violence, and that would make you stop hurting my feelings and enable me to enact revenge. If you betrayed my trust, I pull out violence, and that would enable you to learn the lesson that you don't cross me. The problem is that going back to hurt feelings, if you hurt my feelings, that means you're in a position for me to care about what you think about me or have enough closeness or proximity to me as a person to influence my feelings. I mean, granted, at the end of the day, I get to choose my feelings, but sometimes people can say some hurtful things that make you reconsider everything you thought about yourself, whether it's true or not. So, for me, Sorry, you guys. I'm over here. My arms are tired, so holding the phone today is a little difficult. That's funny. Um, but for me, the thing is that I had to stop using the fork. I had to stop using the one tool that I was efficient at and start figuring out which tool or which tools were better equipped for me to rectify the situation. So going back to hurt feelings, if you hurt my feelings, the tool that I had to use was in essence my spoon, communication, and say, hey, look, right now we can't talk because I'm angry. And I'm angry because my feelings have been hurt. And so right now, because my feelings have been hurt, it's going through a process of anger, or maybe hurt, resentment, whatever you may want to call it. And I can't break free the way I want to break free because I'm so comfortable using this fork. I'm so comfortable using this violence. I'm so comfortable using this anger in a non-productive way that I can't effectively communicate to you right now what I need to communicate to you to try to rectify this situation. And so it took a long time to get to that. I'm not saying you're going to get there overnight. Oh, well, I could just use the right tool in every situation. But what I am saying is that you have to have at least the thought that there is another tool out there and be able to do the analysis on the tools that you are using and find out if those tools are yielding the results you want. So I was very fortunate. I have a friend who lives out of town. They gave me a call the other day, and we were talking about a new relationship that they're in. And it was crazy because like the first, like within 7 days, they were like, this is a great relationship. I feel like I'm really connected with this person. There's so much that's going on that's wonderful in this relationship. And then 7 days later, they call me back and they're like, oh my God, we had an argument and I don't know where it's going to go. And it was interesting to listen to this argument because it reminded me so much of me, in the sense of my immaturity. And I'm trying to grow up. Y'all be patient with me though. The thing that reminded me of me was that the person had said something to the young man who it hurt his feelings. And instead of saying like, hey babe, that really hurt, that cut deep, it became an immediate argument, and it was like it became I forget the word. I think it's like I can't remember the word, but it basically became where he was accusing her for basically having the same thoughts that she had about him. It was like, oh well, if this is all you're about, then I don't even know if this is the right relationship. I thought you were a better person than that, and all these different things. So the problem with that is that that's just simply a tool. Good morning, Key. That's just simply a tool. Accusatory. Thank you, Daniel Rowe, my brother. But what the problem with that is he decided to whip out a tool that he was comfortable with. And the tool that he whipped out was, since you made me feel this way, I'm going to make you pay. And he committed, like, for that day and next day, still committed to being angry. And the thing that's funny is what he really wants is to hold this person, for this person to know that they are loved and to know that he's loved. And you can tell this in the actions because he's trying to use this fork, or let's go even further. He's trying to use this spoon to cut this piece of bread, and he's squashing the bread. So he walks by saying nothing, he had the opportunity to say, hey, I know we had a bad argument last night. I want you to know before I leave for the day, I love you and I care about you. And hopefully we can get through this. We'll talk a little bit more about it later. That wasn't what he said. Instead, he walks by, mumbles a good morning or have a good day, and then keeps going, and then comes back. It's like, so you're just going to ignore me? You didn't even, now you're up and you're trying to get out of the house and you're where you're in a hurry to go to and all these different things. The reality is you want to try to reconcile, but at the same time, you're conflicted because this old tool tells you that you have to hold them responsible for how they made you feel. You have to decide what's most important. And as you decide what's most important, that's when you'll start seeking and using the tools that are most efficient in getting or obtaining what's most important to you. The reality is that this can be a very simple, from making sure you speak to people on the street when they walk by. One of my favorite Bible scriptures is that for a man to have friends, he must first show himself friendly. I live by that. And I have a lot of friends, but it's because I show myself friendly. At this point in life, I don't even question why strangers talk to me everywhere I go. It's because I'm showing myself friendly. I'm picking a tool that is going to make me a person that is perceived to be friendly. And because of that, it opens doors, it opens opportunities, it opens up conversation between me and strangers that normally probably doesn't take place in the course of regular life for a lot of people, because we're so guarded. We have our shield. That's our tool we carry. We carry a shield to deflect everybody away from us and keep them away from us. And they don't need to know my business and this, that, and the other. And you don't know me. You don't know what I've been through. Yeah, we don't. But if you don't tell us and you don't share with us, how are we ever supposed to empathize for you? So today, I want you to think about the tools you're using. Granted, a fork serves a purpose, a knife serves a purpose, a spoon serves a purpose. All three serve a purpose, but make sure you're using it at the right time for the right purpose, because that's when it's most effective. Anyway, it's Wednesday. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Wednesday morning. Thank you, Key, Damien, and Ulysses. It looks like Bruce was there too, for joining in today. And Ulysses, I hope I said your name right. If not, correct me. But I thank you guys for joining in with me today. It's always a pleasure to connect with you guys on the Wednesday Word. I enjoy it. I look forward to it. I hope you look forward to it. If you like it, share it. If you share it, like it. I'm always willing to engage in the comments. That's where we get down. That's where we get to give feedback and plug in and connect with one another. Hopefully one day Facebook will allow you guys to come in live and we can talk and have actual dialogue instead of just me talking to my phone. But until then, I'll see you guys in 7 days. One love.